fucking movie. So let's get into it, dilly boy. All right.
Yeah.
The Royal Tenenbaums. From the year 2001. My favorite year for cinema. You got the Royal Tenenbaums. You got Pootie Tang. You got Rat Race. You got motherfucking Monkey Bone. And some other shit I'm not thinking of. But I like all those movies a lot. It's just... Oh, also, actually it might have been a little earlier. But I'm thinking maybe Small Soldiers is in that area.
No,
I think it's
earlier.
99.
It's
I think
earlier.
it's like 99, actually. But it's close. It's close to that era. Anyway, the point is, The Royal Tenenbaums is a Wes Anderson movie. Recently, we have reviewed Asteroid City and Rushmore. And this is up there for me for his... up close to one of his best, if not his best, live-action movie. But I do like Rushmore a little more. And also, I haven't seen everyone. I haven't seen The French Dispatch. I haven't seen Darjeeling Unlimited or whatever. I might not be saying that right, but something like that. And I don't think I've seen the whole Grand Budapest Hotel. A lot of people say that's the best one, so maybe I should put that one on the list. But I liked this, though. I thought it was coherent. I have some notes on it, but we'll get into that when we get into it. And we'll hear from our boy, Dilly Boy, here about it as well. 01 is for you, what 95 is for me. Oh, okay, I get that, Stevie. 2001's my year. You know, everyone can have their own year, their own favorite year for cinema. That's for sure. There's a lot of good years for it. Thanks for hugging me. I appreciate it in an extremely passionate and sensual manner. Hug Dylan Gatin. Spaghetti's hugging everybody. Spaghetti hugged you in an extremely sensual and passionate manner. That's the only way to hug on this channel. That's the only option.
Thanks, Spaghetti.
That's the only option that's given.
That's so nice.
That's so nice. Okay, let's look at the Rotten Tomatoes for this fucking shithole of a movie. I'm just kidding. I like this movie. It's good. It has 81% critic score, which is pretty fucking solid. 89% audience score, which is also pretty solid. But I like to click on them to see the average review. So the average rating is 7.5, so it'd bring it down to 75%. But it's still pretty good for an average rating. It's actually very good. And it would go down to like 84% for the average rating. 4.2 out of 5. But yeah, that's for the audience score. But that's pretty good. People generally love this movie. It's often considered to be Wes Anderson's best movies by some. Obviously, that's open for debate, but I think it's often talked about when talking about his best film. For live action, again, mine is Fantastic Mr. Fox if we're going animated, because I think that's like a perfect movie in my opinion. But The Royal Tenenbaums is a delightful adult comedy with many quirks and a sense of poignancy. Many critics especially praised Hackman's performance. Gene Hackman's good. Everyone does a good job in this. There's not a bad performance, I would say. Everyone's pretty... It's that classic Wes Anderson direction with the deadpan sort of dialogue. Although some of Ben Stiller's dialogue is probably the least deadpan because he gets like angry and stuff. But that's good though. I like everybody's performances in this. There wasn't anyone who I thought was bad or anything. Let's read some of the good reviews and then let's fish out a bad review or two. If it sounds bittersweet, it is, but like the best family albums, Tenenbaums is a split wide open with open-heartedness and equally generous with its triumphs and failures. Okay, fair enough. Let's read some more. The film manages to be both sarcastic and sentimental. As odd as the Tenenbaums are, the family remains bound by love. I guess that's part of the charm. Let's read this one. The comedy drama about a dysfunctional family of eccentric geniuses is exactly the kind of movie America could use. It's funny, poignant, laced with irresistibly flawed characters, and focuses on the power of love in a family. Yeah, I mean, that is the centering sort of theme is family in this. Obviously, it's about a big family. The basic plot is all these kids grow up and they're extremely smart. They're geniuses. Like, Ben Stiller as a kid is, like, breeding his own kind of rodent and starting his own business, and Margot's writing plays, and they're all very smart, and Richie's a famous tennis prodigy at a young age. There's all these people who they're all geniuses, and then they grow up and start to have sort of hardships, and then they come back together for the first time in like 30 years or whatever it is, to all be under the same roof, and that's where the story sort of takes place with them all reuniting. Anyways, my nose is itchy, so I keep fucking doing this shit. The Royal Tenenbaums isn't just Wes Anderson's best film, it's one of the best films of all time. That's the little pushing it, I think, but, it is good, don't get me wrong, it is good. That's a little bit too much praise, I would say, but it is good. Let's find some shit reviews. Let's find some bad ones. Here's a bad review. There's so much to like about Wes Anderson's work, and it's hard not to warm up to a guy who makes a comedy about damaged young has-beens, but he misfires badly in some crucial respects. Okay, so they didn't like some of the choices, but...
Roasted.
Yeah, roasted. I mean, they still obviously kind of liked it a little bit, but they didn't like it as much as some, obviously. These characters are written with the broad strokes of caricature, yet they are neither funny nor, in the end, sympathetic. Well, I think that's sort of part of like the aesthetic of Wes Anderson is the cold delivery and stuff. I think that's sort of to the end of their critique there. But here's another bad review. Anderson may yet be the heir to the screwball comedy throne. I don't know about that, but his creative blood needs a fresh infusion. I don't know. This is not a screwball comedy. It is a comedy, but it's not that screwy. It's not that crazy.
No. I would say that this is...
It's like an intellectual comedy, kind of.
Like Grand Budapest is more screwy.
Yeah.
If we're going by a screwy meter.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I've seen clips of it, but a lot of people like that one. Let's read one more good and one more bad. It's good. The Royal Tenenbaums is Anderson's crowning achievement. A lot of people would say that. What the film really seems to be is an invitation to thoughtfulness, a cultivation of the irrationally willful. Yeah, I don't know. Let's move on. Let's see here. Let's go to the IMDb page. 7.6 out of 10. That's pretty good. Let's see what folks are saying though. Ooh, show nips. I'm good.
Show your nips, Dad.
But do you like the chips? I love them. With dips on my nips. I need tips if you want to see nips.
Who's asking for nips?
Stevie. Stevie always asks for nips.
Okay, man. Show.
It's a regular...
Give the people what they want.
Tips for nips. I'll div nips for tips. If people really want to see them, they have to pay.
Damn. Pay them good money.
Good nipple money. Alright, anyway, we're talking about the Royal Tenenbaums. 7.6 out of 10. That's pretty decent. The popularity is going down on IMDb, apparently. Fuck. But that doesn't fucking mean shit.
Save our Tenenbaums!
Gene Hackman is Royal Tenenbaum, the dad. Gwyneth Paltrow is Margot, the adopted daughter. Angelica Houston is the mom. Ethelene Tenenbaum. Ben Stiller is Chaz. Luke Wilson. This is the classic huge ensemble cast. This is one of the trademarks of Wes Anderson's work. Not all of his work, but a lot of it.
This would be his first one.
First
big ensemble.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Because before that, Rushmore isn't quite a big ensemble, and neither is Bottle Rocket. But yeah, Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson, Bill Murray, Danny Glover, solid cast. Alec Baldwin narrates. That's right. And that's everybody I sort of recognize. So let's move on down to Funky Town.
Yeah.
And look at the box office information. This movie probably made a decent profit, and it did. $21 budget. $21 million budget, and gross worldwide $71 million, which is pretty good. And yeah, that's the thing with Wes Anderson. His movies always... Because he has a modest-ish budget. He'll have like a $25 million budget or $20 million budget. And then he'll make like double that at least, and this one made well over double. And that's the problem with a lot of movies nowadays. They put so much money into these fucking things, and then of course they fail because you put $100 million into Madam Web and it fucking grows $20 million because it's shit. And that kind of thing is happening more and more, and too often, I'd say. But that's what because even though I didn't love Asteroid City, I did kind of like it. Like, there's elements I liked to it. It made money. It was like a $25 million budget and a $50 million gross or so. So it made like double. And that sort of formula for making movies is, I think, what more filmmakers and studios should be taking into account and following suit. But, you know, maybe I'm fucking crazy. Oh, you know. 8 nips now. I'm very good at math. Yeah, 2 plus 4. We each have 4.
Oh, fuck, yeah. Not me.
Oh shit! With dips on my nips, I fed you a gummy. Technically, I put it in my mouth. I fed it to you. You redeemed it. I know what you mean, but if we gotta get technical here.
4 more gummies and you can have nips.
Nippy.
That's how it works.
I'm going to grab my notepad, which is actually an old iPhone, because it has my notes on it. And we'll keep talking about the fucking Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
But again, what do you think about this movie?
Oh, it's really good. I haven't watched it since high school.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit fresh for me. One thing that I really like about it, and that I wish he would do again, and it's kind of the same thing as Tarantino too, is I'd really like Wes Anderson to do a movie that's set in the time that we're in, again, because I kind of almost prefer his characters interacting with the real world rather than crazy characters and a crazy world, which is fine, but I kind of, you know, that's one thing that I think the Royal Tenenbaums has over a lot of his films is being kind of grounded in reality with his style. Yeah,
because it's sort of... Although they don't really say the time, do they? Like
they mentioned it's 2001.
Oh, they do? Okay, because I did think it was in the time. It makes sense for some of the shit they're wearing. Like the clothes look very 2001 and stuff. Yeah. So that makes sense. The Adidas suits that
it's probably outside of, you know, some of his comedies, like his own comedies. Royal Tenenbaums is a comedy.
Yeah.
But probably one of my favorite Ben Stiller performances for sure.
It is good. It's something a little different from him too. I liked him in it too. And because like I said this sort of before about a lot of Wes Anderson's movies, and this one too, all the characters are very deadpan, but Ben Stiller, I noticed, is not, because he actually has a little more emotion. He's like angry and stuff, but that works for it. And like you said, it's a good performance. I agree with that. Let's look at the notes here. The theater. So let's talk about the theater for a moment. Because Wes Anderson clearly loves the theater, and the last 3 movies we reviewed all are very heavily influenced and reference the theater. In Asteroid City, it literally is a play inside of a movie. And then in Rushmore, Max, the main character, is a playwright. In this movie, Margot is a playwright. So you can tell, and even if he didn't reference plays, you would still be able to tell he loves theater by the aesthetic, the way things are framed. Like the titles that get put are very theatrical, all that kind of shit. Which I liked, and I think it's kind of cool, but it makes me wonder if we go back to every single Wes Anderson movie. Did they all have fucking theaters and shit and like playwrights in them? Maybe, but these 3 do. I like how they show all the characters, and I think he does this in more than this movie, but I like how they do that. At the beginning of the movie, before you meet all the characters, they show you all the characters and who they're played by, and they're just like standing there and they show their names and stuff. I like that. It's something a little different that Wes Anderson does, and it works for this movie, I would say. My next note is a printing note, and this is something that my dad has ingrained with me. When you got like colors printed on other colors that make it look like the lettering is invisible, they do this. Light green, yellow on light green, they have because they show all these books in between shit. One of them I think has like yellow and light green. I like had to pause it and squint to read it. It's so fucking hard to read. But that's a minor note. But still, the graphics part of me that my dad is ingrained in my brain, that got me going. Contrast, yes, Stevie, exactly. Well, I thought you were gonna say something.
No, just kind of coughed.
Good soundtrack. I like the soundtrack in this. It's pretty solid all around.
Well, there was one part where it's Gwyneth Paltrow is Luke Wilson is waiting at the train station for Gwyneth Paltrow, and the song These Days starts playing.
Right.
And they're kind of like staring at each other in longing, you know, even from like a short distance away. And that's like a really beautiful shot of that song playing there. Yeah. All the music choices really fit all the shots.
They do another Nico to a song, I think, at the end of Nico's as well. So yeah, I like that. The soundtrack was good. Next note. Sounded like flatlining, but he's not dead. So there's a part with Gene Hackman, and I mean, it can be explained because we find out very early on, and you sort of, as the audience, suspect that he's faking the cancer. Gene Hackman, he says he's dying, basically, so his family will let him in because he's been a neglectful father, and they hate him for good reason. But he has to lie to sort of get in their good graces and pretends he's dying. But there's a point where he's hooked up to all this machinery, and they make it seem like he's dead or something for a second. Like they make the flatlining noise, like meh, and he's not dead. But there's just, I feel like that noise shouldn't have been there just for that second. That's a little nitpick, but still, that's something I noticed. Interesting. Oh wait, no, that's not the next one. Henry is holding groceries behind a tree. This is when Danny Glover is sort of spying on Gene Hackman, and I get why he's spying on it. I didn't get why he was holding groceries. Like I guess he just went and got groceries, but it felt a little weird that he just happened to also have groceries while spying on them. But it was funny. So I do kind of liked it. I did kind of like it. But
I liked it in the movie.
But it did look weird. But it was funny, so it's okay. Next note. Interesting Tic Tac product placement, because they have Tic Tacs, him pretending that these cancer pills, he has Tic Tacs in place of them. So I thought that was funny. Tic Tac product placement. Boo! I don't understand. Maybe you can explain this to me, Dylan. Wait, some of these notes. Bon Jovi. I don't know. Blaze in a blaze of glory. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, maybe you can answer me this question. Why did Pagoda stab Royal again? Because they talk about the story. Pagoda is the butler that's helping Royal get closer to the family and stuff, and helping him lie about the cancer. And they have a story where Pagoda was an assassin and he stabbed Royal or something. But then he stabs him later in the movie when they get kicked out of the house. And I don't know why.
I assume it was just because of it was his fault. Like he was being a piece of shit.
Yeah, but that still seems like an overreaction to me. It still felt a little weird to me. So yeah, that's my note on that. That just felt like that came out of left field. Even though they sort of explained it with the story, it still felt weird to me. My next note is boobs. There's boobs in this movie.
Is it?
It's very quick, but there was boobs.
Whose?
It's not a main character. It's Gene Hackman, I think, is like with a prostitute or something. Oh, and nice. They show real quick boobies. It's something like that. And I'm programmed to, when I see boobies, put it down on the notes right away. It's like boobies, I saw boobies, put it in the notes. Or ding dong, or whatever nudity. We're not sexist. It's whatever, if dicks or boobs or whatever. We just want to see the nudity. Equal nudity. If you're going to show a boobie, show a dicky too.
They should have shown Gene Hackman naked.
They should have shown his cack.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Boobs, yes, Stevie, boobs. My next note is, Royal should try harder to stop Richie. I don't even know what I meant by this, but I'm trying to think.
Like stop him from strictly raising his kids?
No, I think there was a point where like Richie was like walking away or something. Oh wait, no, I know what it was. He's on. about to go on a bus. Richie's like on the bus and Gene Hackman's like sees him about to go on the bus. Because Gene Hackman was just looking for Richie. Because Richie had just tried to commit suicide and so he's in the hospital. And Gene Hackman's going to see him, but he wasn't in the room. And then they see him at the bus stop going out. And you think he would try to stop him from getting on the bus. That was my note. That I thought that he would try to stop him from getting on the bus. But to be fair, he was a little bit far away. It's like possible that he would miss that. But I still think he would have tried like a little bit. Like maybe walk a few steps to try to stop him. But he is an asshole. So but at that point he's trying to be good. So I don't. Anyway, moving on. It's not that important. He would know if the kids went to church. Yeah, there's a part where Gene Hackman is talking to Margot, or someone's talking to someone about how the kids are raised and how were they raised. Did they go to church? And he was like, I don't know if they went to church, but I think he would know because he raised them for a little bit, so you think he would have known. But maybe he means he didn't know for that large stretch of time, so I guess that makes enough sense. He doesn't know if they went for that 20 years he was absent, or 30 years, or whatever it was. Okay, this is the next note is funny. Owen Wilson is Lightning McQueen. Because it made me think of Lightning McQueen, because at the end when he has all that shit painted on his face, and he's high on drugs, and he crashes the car into the building, and he's going fast. So I'm thinking that's where they got the casting for Lightning McQueen. They saw that and were like, that's our Lightning McQueen. That's our fucking guy. So I thought that was funny. The chase scene is fun. I liked the Ben Stiller running after Owen Wilson through the halls. It was shot really well. And it was a fun little scene. And I like, my next note is, I like how dogs all just universally listen to Royal. Royal is just like, sit down, and they just listen to him. I think that's a nice little side element to the movie. My next note is, those cigarettes would taste bad. There's cigarettes that are apparently 10 years old, and they just smoke them and they'd act like they're fine, but they would taste gross.
Depending on where they're stored.
Yeah, but they were outside underneath that brick. That's where.
Like if they were in their plastic, that'd be more or less fine.
They were not in their plastic. In 10 years, I feel like they would be gross and they would be like, this doesn't taste good. But to be fair, you are more of a cigarette connoisseur.
I'm a cigarette expert.
Yeah, so you would know better than me. But I think they would taste gross at that point. They have a whole cemetery enclosure. I have as a question mark. Because at the beginning, or not the beginning of the movie, but earlier in the movie, Gene Hackman, they go to the cemetery to visit his grandma or whatever, but they also go to visit Ben Stiller's wife, and their graves are apart. But then at the end of the movie, they show all the Tenenbaum graves all together. So what do you think happened to that?
Some people have private cemeteries.
Yeah.
Some families do, yeah.
Yeah. No, that part makes sense to me, but I mean, why weren't the other ones included, like the Ben Stiller's wife? Or were they included in that enclosure, you think?
Yeah, no, she's buried in the same place because he was offended earlier when he's like, we're going to go take you to see your grandma.
Right. But when they show the enclosure, it doesn't look that big, and it's just like the Tenenbaum little thing with a few graves in it. And when they show earlier them going to the graves, they show Ben Stiller walking away.
Continuity.
And it feels a little far away. Again, a minor note, but I thought that felt a little weird. And yeah, that's such a nitpick. No one's gonna be catching that. I'm only catching this shit because I'm rewinding and trying to pay attention to any little thing that doesn't make sense. My last note on the movie. By the way, I usually have way more notes on it. This is a pretty good movie. Do Margot and Richie get together? It's implied that they do. Luke Wilson and Gwyneth Paltrow. And they're brother and sister, but she's adopted, so it's not as gross as it could be. But you kind of want them to get together too, because they're clearly the right match for each other. But it's not 100% clear to me that they do get together, and I would like it to be clear. It's implied, and I think they do, but I don't know for sure if they do. Alright, that's all my notes. Dylan, start talking about shit. What do you think?
I think. Yeah. No, I lost my train of thought while you were talking.
It's okay.
No, it's a really good movie. Soundtrack is great. That's one of the biggest things.
It is solid.
The soundtrack, it really, really goes well with all the scenes. Yeah, again, I would really love to see movie directors that are like Wes Anderson, auteur-driven movie makers of their time.
Yes.
Go back to kind of their basics and stuff like that. You know, it would be good to see Wes Anderson make a movie like Royal Tenenbaums or Rushmore again. It would be good to see Quentin Tarantino do something like Reservoir Dogs, you know.
Like Asteroid City was okay, but it wasn't this. It wasn't as good as this.
No, and like those movies are good and everything. And like even Grand Budapest.
A lot of people think it's the best one too.
It is really good, and even I really, really enjoy watching that. But it is nice to see filmmakers go back to a filmmaker's roots.
Go back to their roots, yeah. No, I get that. And yeah, I don't have much else to say, so we can just finish the rate. Kai gave me notes and a rating for My Girls, because Stevie's going to talk to us about My Girl.
Oh, nice.
He'll come in on Discord. That's dope. So yeah, I'm going to rate it, and I'll let you rate it. I'll give you it out of 10 Dills slot.
Nice.
I'm going to give it solid 8. Just a solid 8.
Just an 8?
I mean, it's pretty good. I don't know. You're making me question it now, but that's pretty good for my stuff.
Yeah.
Am I right? It's not Pootie Tang.
Oh yeah, you got that right.
It's not Kung Pao. But it was good. I mean, it's probably technically better than both of those movies, but I definitely enjoy those movies more than this. But this was still very good. 9 out of 10 Dills and 8 out of 10 Ducks. Hold it up more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do this for a little bit. And then, just hold it for like 10 more seconds.
Is this the thumbnail on YouTube?
Not a thumbnail, but it's to put up you have the little videos and shit that pop up. Just in case, I don't even know if I'm going to put this one on YouTube. It might be on Patreon. I don't know yet. I figured that out later.
Patreon!
Boogity, 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 boogity.